myscreenkit.net for all of you across our beautiful country who want to get the quality of an American-made window screen or solar screen pet screen as well delivered directly to your house in roughly 3 to 5 days. It just depends on, I guess, inventory. Sometimes it gets a little bit tough. Of course, here in the Houston area, kingofsolarscreens.com. We also have our franchises in Waco and Lake Jackson. Not Lake Jackson, I'm sorry. Lake Livingston. The Rio Grande Valley, McAllen, Waco, Houston. I think I've said them all. That was easy. Well, yesterday, guys, you know, I did that live shot. And I appreciate all of you who kind of hung out with me for the entirety, threw out some questions, thoughts, ideas, said hello. I thank you for that. That does make me feel good. And then, of course, I always forget to ask you, subscribe to my channel. I get plenty of viewers. I just don't quite have enough followers. Whether you ever follow me again or even watch another video, follow me. It's free. Free. I love the word free. But I had 2 amazing solar screen questions come in. One of our customers, My Screen Kit, was actually in, oh good Lord, Arizona, New Mexico, somewhere to the west of Texas. I don't think it was California, so it was one of those 2 states. He had bought a bunch of our kits, and I love that, and I thank him for that, and I thank you so much for that. But you did pose a question when it comes to that crossbar, which every kit gets a crossbar, whether you leave it permanent or remove it. Either way, it's there so your frame is not hourglass when you roll it. And of course, that's just in every kit, period. But he did ask the question, how do I measure to put my crossbar? And I thought, man, that is a fantastic question. So we're going to go over to a window that I took my solar screen off. I'm, of course, in my shop, Rolling Dough, as my beautiful bride named it, Rolling Dough. I love it. We're going to go over, and I'm going to show you where we measure our window and where exactly do you measure for your crossbar. So if you permanently leave that crossbar in, you're good to go. Otherwise, you use it just to roll it, and then you can throw it in the recycle bin or give it to somebody or use it. I don't know, use it to do something, I don't know. But either way, remember the general rule in our industry is we measure left to right, bottoms up. Left to right, bottoms up. That way, when we come to our warehouse, and I believe that's actually uniform everywhere for every builder in our country, is left to right, bottoms up. Mainly because we build it in our warehouse just the opposite, or when we lay it on our bench, because we're doing it backwards, obviously, because all of the bars go underneath, the material on top. So we take your numbers and just mirror them right to left, bottoms up. So I can go to Ace Hardware and have them build me a new one. Okay, Ace Hardware, we service a lot of them, and I'm going to show you right now. Give me just a moment. We're going to run over here to my window. I'm going to show you both the crossbar and then left to right. Now, keep in mind there's about 5 or 6 different styles of windows. Mine's a 1970s style, so there are vinyl that have no tracks, and then, of course, there's a lot of aluminums that do have tracks. So let's run over there, Eric, and I will we'll do it. So let's go for a quick walk. I know you guys don't want to look at me, so we'll just spin around. Hey, look at that gorgeous van in the driveway. So, all right. Here's, of course, my solar screens. These are about 15, 16 years old. Still look absolutely gorgeous. As you always hear me stress, American made. This is why it's still so beautiful. If you use anything else, and I won't say where from, you'll find that your material will dry rot, gray up, and just basically fall apart. So here's one of my windows. I think this one's about a 4 foot by 5 foot. Now my window, I'm hoping I'm doing this right, and forgive me if I'm not, I have this beautiful inside track as well as one outside. The frame, if I use this outside track, so all the way to the left, all the way to the right, will not actually sit in there because there's this like little hootie or whatever the case that's coming out. So I'm going to use this inside track. As you can see, many years ago I painted this what we call champagne, because that's what color frame that I use, and originally our windows were mill or the silver unpainted color. But as you get up to the top of my window, you'll find that we have an upper channel all the way across. So that gives us a nice tight squeeze. Unfortunately, my style of window does not have a bottom channel. So what I did for myself, because it does have this lip, is I put a screw here just to make sure no flies, mosquitoes try to sneak in. Because obviously being in the Houston area, we get to enjoy our windows open most of the winter, except for every now and then when we get that cold. So, Eric, to answer your question, sounds good, I'm there with you. Thank you, my friend. Hey, thank you again. Hey, follow me if you haven't yet, Eric. But let's do it. From here, all the way across your window. Again, this is my track. Yours could be different, Eric, or of course anyone else out there. So we definitely want to get that measurement. And forgive me, I am once again solo. My beautiful bride is over in LaPorte, where one of our daughter's son-in-law and two of our grandsons live. She's over there visiting. So this is, well, it's just 42 right on the nose. So that's how I'm going to measure left to right. And have no fear, Eric, a lot of the aces that I support here in the Houston market, either with raw material or with a finished screen, they know what they're doing. So they'll know exactly what it is. And then, of course, you can measure easily from the bottom, or I'm sorry, from the top down. Add just a little, maybe a quarter of an inch if your tape measure does not want to go into that upper track. Just add a smidge. And again, that's just going to make sure it's nice and tight. But here is where that important question comes in for that gentleman who got the My Screen kit delivered. Crossbar from the bottom to dead center is exactly 27 1/4. Bottoms up. And that's exactly what we're going to do when we go back into our shop. I've actually got a frame ready, including with the crossbar, and we'll figure that one out. Now, a couple other questions came in yesterday, and I loved it. I was questioned about my knowledge of Ted Nugent, and because I did mention Uncle Ted yesterday, being that I'm from Michigan originally, and I thought that was a really great question. So, about 15 years ago, I'm going to answer that man's question as I'm rolling my material out. About 15 years ago, one dear friend of mine, Aubrey, who owns Two Frogs Grill up in Ardmore, Oklahoma, he brings all these music bands in, and back then I worked all of these shows for him, from Ted Nugent to Leonard Skinner, etc., etc. I mean, 38 Special, which was my favorite by far. But the drummer for Ted, which at the time, hey, you're from Michigan. I'm from Adrian, or the Jackson, Brooklyn area, just in case you don't know that area. Well, I wasn't born there. I was a military baby, so I was born in California, but I was definitely raised there because that's my dad's family, and gosh, all the way back to the 1800s. But anyway, the drummer, who used to be the drummer for Dokken, he missed the limo to go back to the hotel. And so, of course, it was my duty to take him in my vehicle. So I took him to the hotel, and Ted came out. It was the Holiday Inn there in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Sorry, I'm not sure why I just Ardmore every time. I don't know. But it was really cool because Uncle Ted came out. I mean, we must have sat and chatted for 30 or 40 minutes. Such an amazing man. Loved him to death. Uncle Ted, thank you for that. And Ted Nugent is up here. We kind of see him as a trader. Hey, but you know, he lives like 2 towns over from where I am. Him and Charmaine, I hope I'm not saying her name wrong. Forgive me if I am. I never met her. I know of her. They give speeches a lot at South Shore Harbor Resort, which is right on the water in Leech City, Texas. So I wouldn't call him a trader, but still. I loved old Uncle Ted, but I got to hang out with this guy for like 30, 40 minutes. He gave me, of course, the autograph, took a picture with him, a bunch of his guitar picks, and I still have all of those, Uncle Ted. Thank you. And I will forever, ever love my Ted Nugent. But let's get back to it. So, I've got my frame, and I went from the bottom to the center, which we know was 24 1/4. Of course, I made that mark on the opposite side. In your screen kit, or at least in the goodie bag, which I have plenty of them over here, we took an order for a bunch of 72-inch long, but I don't have any 72-inch tubes, so we got them all ready, but they're not due until either late tonight or tomorrow. So you're in California. If you're watching by any chance, we will ship yours out tomorrow as soon as we get it. But in your goodie bag from the My Screen kit, and this one incidentally is a 48 by 72, you will find your crossbar pins, whether you use them or not. 4 screws, again, whether you use them or not. You have your corners, and of course your length of spline. Whoops, let me put that in front of the camera. That way you have everything you need to get the job done right. In fact, Eric, I'm a Michigan boy. Come on. My wife and I still go to Catnick's every year in October for that Apple Umpkin Festival. Of course, Mom and Dad, my brother Joey went with us this time. I think it was Joey. It was either that or Cal. No, it wasn't Callie because she was at work, my sister. But my brother Joe and I and Dad, we all went down to Catnick's back in October. So, Eric, I was a window installer for 25 years. Wow. I bet that was rough. I don't like glass. Every time I play with it wrong, I always end up slicing myself. So, Eric, congrats, man. I'm glad you did that. But so anyway, the crossbar pins are in your goodie bag. So let me spin this bad boy back around. So what I'm going to do, and again, everything we do is from the bottom up. So all I'm doing is placing this pin in here. And I'm doing the same thing over on this side. Now, how many millions of times you've heard me speak and preach, we do not cut corners. You have a true 1-inch aluminum, 100% made in America frame. I don't give you 7/8, 3/4, you get a true 1-inch frame. So what that means is your crossbar, always remember, is 2 inches less than the overhaul width, which this is a different order, 34 and 7/16, so that crossbar is permanently stained. Dude, if I broke one, we got a whole new sash. Oh, wow. Some nuts on here, ain't there? There are some nuts. Sometimes. I don't know. Hey, you calling me a nut? No, I'm joking. I'll happily take it. But so again, make sure your crossbar is exactly 2 inches less than your overall width. Of course, if you've got a slider window, it would go up and down. But this one is black 90, and I am so sorry, guys, because this was unscheduled. I left my razor blade just out of view. Give me 1 second. All right. Always keep a nice sharp blade. I'm going to move you guys here where perhaps you can see me better. And a couple of you yesterday who were watching, you had the angle of that arch that we built yesterday, the tapered arch. And a lot of you let me know there was a little bubble. Have no fear. As soon as we got off and my wife and I were watching the replay just to make sure I said everything I was supposed to say, we caught that. So have no fear. I fixed it immediately so I wouldn't forget. Because that is for a customer of mine. And if it's one thing I have always stood by, and that is doing it right, and that is my standby, period. As a military man, I mean, we were forced to do it right, do it quickly. So what I'm doing, all I'm doing is like you normally see. I'm just rolling this, mostly because I want you guys to see. And Eric, if I didn't answer that question right for you as far as how you need to measure your windows, let me know down there. I'm assuming in Michigan you probably don't need a solar screen unless you're just trying to get rid of the snow glare in the winter, which my dad said you guys don't get much snow anymore, and I kind of miss snowmobiling. That's kind of one of our pastimes. But if it's a bug screen, let me know. And be sure when you go to the ace and true value that you specify that because it's a bug screen, you're going to need springs at the top. Oh, okay, beautiful. So always bug screens get the springs at the top, pull tabs at the bottom. That makes it easier for you to take it in and off. And while I'm finishing the roll, one of the emails was, "Are you really a gardener?" Well, Eric, I think you can back me up because you're from Michigan, my friend. We lived on a farm in Brooklyn, or Onstead. Well, it was Brooklyn, but Onstead. And Grandpa had, I can't even tell you how many acres, but I can tell you my cousins and I, that's what we did. And I can't tell you how many times my brother and I had to fill Dad's truck up with horse manure. Oh my Lord. There was a horse farm across the street from Grandpa's ranch, or farm. And but yes, I am a farmer, and as soon as I'm done with this, I'll show you out back. I left the back door open, and I know it causes a glare on that television screen of yours, but I did it on purpose. I'm really proud of it. My dad taught me of all the things that truly all the things that I had learned as a child growing up, I think gardening is the one thing that I kept a hold of. And all 4 of my daughters, and now 6 of my grandkids, of course the 7th and 8th we talked about yesterday, are on their way to the world. And they'll also work Grandpa's garden, so have no fear. There it is. The permanent crossbar. 90% black Twitchell, 1-inch bronze, metal, or aluminum, excuse me. We use, of course, Screen Co here. But that's it. So that's how you measure it. Now, solar screens, you should never put pull tabs and springs on it because you really need to mount that. And I notice some people, they do it, and it doesn't make sense to me, but I'll do it for you if you want it. Obviously, because it is your home. I'm not going to argue about that, and it's your place. And but honestly, you don't need those things because you need to get a more semi-permanent installation for the big, tall screens, especially down here on the coast where we get a lot of strong winds. Oh, in the Tri-Cities, beautiful. The whole yard of snowmobiles, ain't none of them moved in 3 years. Oh my Lord. You know, Eric, I know I'm getting off topic again. Last year, perhaps it was the year before, forgive me, time flies sometimes. I sent my dad a picture of my garden. It was early February, obviously down here in Houston. I grow a garden year round because I have also the greenhouse just in case. But I sent Dad a picture of all my cucumbers, green beans, everything's hanging off the vine. And he sent me a picture of his garden, and it was covered in snow, and there was a bunch of wild turkey. So, guys, here's my little garden. For you yesterday who questioned it, here you go. Obviously, we can our own pickles. I use Dad's recipe, so I got plenty of dill, plenty of onions, love carrots. I have tomatoes, insane tomatoes, beets, more onions, green beans on the other side of all these big, tall tomatoes. These tomatoes, I know it's hard to tell. My wife's like that tall. I mean, she's so beautiful. She can hide in those tomatoes. On the opposite side of the greenhouse, I have okra. My wife and my daughter like pickled okra, so that's for them. But I make my own spaghetti sauce, so that's why I grow my own tomatoes. And, ooh, I see a little red one hiding in there. I was out picking early this morning. And, yeah. So, that was it, guys. I don't want to keep you long today. I thank you so much for all of you who support me. We don't have leaves on the trees yet. We have a forest already. My Lord. You know, it's kind of funny because here in Houston, we'll lose the leaves, October, November, and they're back in January. And it's beautiful. I love it because, well, yeah, I mean, it's just geographics. But, oh, okay. I'm going to show, there's my buddy, King Booker. And, of course, me and my brother, Richard. We're the king. He's king north. I'm king south, I guess. But either way. Guys, thanks so much for yesterday for chiming in, and Eric today, man, it was a blessing. Nice to talk with you. I miss Michigan, especially where I grew up. I miss Bone Pool. If anyone's out in the Adrian area watching, that was our daycare when my brother and I were kids, because Mom and Dad were at work. I miss shopping at the Meijer. I miss going to Catnick's. I miss picking fresh apples, pumpkin donuts. Oh my gosh, maple syrup right out of the tree, baby. Yeah. You got my support. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that, man. I just hope you have a blessed one up there. Keep it up. All right. Hey, go to your local Ace by all means. But if they can't give you what you want, myscreenkit.net. Throw into the comment section that you and I chit-chatted here during this particular live, and I'll make sure I'm the one that packages it. So. 300 a year. Wow. Well, fish fries. I missed that. I went years without fish, and my wife and I, my daughter and my son-in-law, my youngest daughter, the 20-year-old, well, she's still 19, but her and her husband, we all went up to Michigan in October, and Mom and Dad took us to some place. I want to say it was Cement City, because obviously it's Fish Fry Friday in Michigan. Holy smokes. Wow. I wanted seconds, but they were already sold out. So, man, that is amazing. Fresh catch, probably out of Devil's Lake or Clark Lake. I'm not sure which lake was the closest, but I would assume that they're catching it fresh out of those local lakes. But guys, I won't keep you. I thank you so much for your support. Of course, you guys always tell me or hear me say, support your veterans near you. Take care of the people you love. Let them know you love them. Be kind. Yeah. So keep sending your questions, your thoughts, your ideas. kingofsolarscreens@gmail.com. That goes directly to the phone that we're using. So I have 100% control of catching any questions, thoughts, or ideas that you might have. MyScreenKit.net. You have a great day too, Eric. Thank you, man. You guys stay blessed up there. MyScreenKit.net. If you don't want to order it, I'm not telling you to get on there and order, but there is a form you fill out if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas. And of course, for you savvy computer folk, if you get online, you'll actually find our number, and you can probably text me direct. Maybe I should set that up, like for every text you send, you guys send me $100. No, I'm joking. We don't need to do that. So remember, we down in here in Houston are home of the $55 any size, shape, color solar screen. I love that so much that even the My Screen Kit, all those sizes we put together in those tubes, we ship it to you at $55 each, and I love it. So you guys have a great, blessed rest of the day. Think about it, give us a shout, and no matter what, support American-owned, local small businesses. And Eric, I know you already said you were jumping off, but if you're still there, we know. Ooh, what do you mean metal or vinyl? Like the window, because it's either a aluminum metal window or it could be vinyl, because you did mention you did replacements, and I know most, if not all, replacements are vinyl versus that aluminum or old wood style. But I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. Oh well. I was going to say it to you, Eric, and I forgot what it was. Window screen. Oh, you mean for the frame? It's always aluminum. I don't know if vinyl is even on the market, because it seems to me that would be too soft. But I imagine it probably is. But in the secondary market or in the manufacturing market, we're all exclusive aluminum. There's also, and maybe you're questioning this for the screen, there is aluminum mesh. We do not touch it. It hurts, it pokes your fingers, and if you jump your roller out of that track, you just shredded that thing like you had claws, like you were X-Man. What was his name? Wolverine. Michigan Wolverines! But, so we don't use aluminum mesh. I only use the Twitchell, which, boy, my brain has gone cuckoo. I want to say that is the core. I forgot. Oh my gosh, not cotton. It's the other one, polyester. And then, of course, the PVC coating, which keeps it nice and pretty and beautiful and clean forever. And of course, Bug Screen is made of fiberglass, and we actually upgraded our fiberglass and went to what we call pool and patio, or 1814 for the technical term, which is a whole lot stronger. Nobody's ever told me how much stronger, but I can tell you that we have a lot of fun with it, and we can't break it. So I thank you guys for your support. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm getting good at this. I know I am. All right.